We are always looking for someone to carry the weight for us. It has always been like this. It will always be like this. Someone to blame, someone to explain, someone to absorb the responsibility we refuse to hold. We say the fault is the past, childhood, parents, trauma, society, biology, history. My mother was anxious, my father too, their parents before them. And so we keep walking backward through time, digging deeper and deeper, hoping that if we go far enough, we'll find a final explanation. Until we reach Adam and Eve, until we reach the original myth of guilt. And there, in the garden, something deeply unsettling happens. God places a tree at the center of paradise and says, "Not this one." If he truly didn't want them to eat, silence would have been enough. Silence always is, but by pointing, he creates desire. By forbidding, he plants curiosity. By naming, he condemns. That wasn't a mistake. It was a trap. When Adam is confronted, he doesn't take responsibility. We never do. He points to Eve. Eve points to the serpent. And the serpent smiles. Passing the blame forward is older than religion, older than morality. It's structural. The universe was never designed to be obedient. An obedient universe would be dead. No surprise, no risk, no story. A God who controls everything, predicts everything, knows everything is a bored God. And maybe that's the real hell. Not fire, not punishment, but absolute boredom. That's why, in the Jewish tradition, God places something strange inside the human being. The Yetzer Hara, the errant impulse, the conscious flaw. Not absolute evil, just enough deviation, like salt in a soup. Enough to disrupt perfection. Enough for something unpredictable to happen. Enough so that even God doesn't fully know what comes next. And this is where things become uncomfortable. Because what's at stake isn't morality. It's identity. Who are we? Why do we feel displaced? Why does living feel like an obligation instead of an event? We believe survival is a duty, that existence needs justification, that waking up requires a reason. Now imagine for a moment that you were God, in the most literal sense, all-powerful, all-knowing, everywhere. You would know every ending before the beginning, every answer before the question, every consequence before the choice. And then, what would remain? Nothing but emptiness. So you would want to forget. You would want not to know. You would want to get lost inside your own creation. And here lies the ultimate taboo. To know you are God is considered madness. The mark of insanity, we're told, is believing you are God. That's why it must be denied, repressed, crucified. Jesus wasn't killed for being good. He was killed for knowing who he was. Religion made a silent agreement. Fine, he can be God, but only him, no one else. But that was never the original revelation. The revelation was always collective, universal, silent. In the East, this was never scandalous. Discovering your divinity wasn't heresy. It was awakening. Not in an egoic sense, not I am special, but this is looking through me. When I look into your eyes, I don't see just you. I see the universe trying to recognize itself. That's why forgetting is necessary. We must pretend we don't know who we are. So the experience has intensity. So there is fear, loneliness, alienation. We say, I came into the world. But that's an illusion. You didn't come into the world. You came out of it. Like fruit from a tree, like a baby from a womb, like a wave from the ocean. We are symptoms of the universe, nerve endings of existence. The cosmos doesn't think in abstractions. It feels through us. That's why there are many of us. So the point of view isn't singular, so there's no final bias. So reality can observe itself from every possible angle. And so we do what we always do. We try to understand what's happening. We build telescopes to look outward, microscopes to look inward. And the more we look, the more everything escapes. The farther we see, the more the universe expands. The deeper we investigate, the more particles appear. We thought we found the atom. Then came the electron, the proton, the neutron, then chaos, antimatter, fields, full emptiness, probabilistic realities. Reality isn't becoming more confusing, we're becoming more precise. We are a system trying to observe itself, a snake eating its own tail, a mirror facing another mirror. We ask, who am I? But try to see your own head. Right now, you can't. It isn't dark, it isn't blurred. It simply isn't there. Where you think you are, there is nothing, and that's where everything reveals itself. We think space is empty, that it's nothing, that it doesn't matter. But space is the foundation of everything. Without space, there are no stars. They emerge from nothing. Sound emerges from silence. Form emerges from emptiness. Being emerges from non-being. Just as man emerges from woman. Not the other way around. If you listen closely enough, without trying to extract meaning, something disturbing appears. There is no past. There is no future. And there is no one listening. Only this instant, observing itself. And maybe that's exactly what you would do if you were God. At the end of every question, there is no answer. There is silence. Not an empty silence, but a heavy one. Ancient, almost sacred. The kind of silence that doesn't comfort, doesn't explain, and doesn't save. It simply remains. Human beings are terrified of this space. That's why we talk so much, think so much, create narratives, systems, religions, ideologies, goals, purposes, legacies. Anything to avoid the brutal perception that nothing is waiting at the end. Consciousness was not a gift. It was a sophisticated accident. Nature didn't need to be observed. It existed perfectly without witnesses. But for reasons that will never be clarified, it folded in on itself and began to look. And in that gaze, a fracture emerged. Thinking is a crack in wholeness. Feeling separate is the price of self-awareness. Since then, we've been trying to close that fissure, trying to return to something we don't remember being, trying to recover a unity that only exists as metaphysical nostalgia. We call this spirituality, but underneath, it's homesickness for something that was never individual. Human pain doesn't come from suffering itself. It comes from insisting on interpreting it, from desperately trying to assign meaning to what simply happens. The universe doesn't explain, it executes. There is no justice in how things function. There is blind coherence, repetition, cycles feeding on themselves. Birth, desire, loss, illness, aging, death, not as tragedy, as pattern. Modern spirituality fails because it tries to anesthetize this perception. It turns the abyss into a motivational message, the void into purpose, silence into promise. But the void promises nothing, and that's precisely why it's real. Perhaps humanity's greatest mistake was confusing meaning with emotional survival. Not everything that is true is bearable. Not everything that is real is welcoming. Some truths don't heal, they clarify. And clarity doesn't bring peace, it brings lucidity. Lucidity is seeing there is no secret plan, no hidden reward, no guaranteed redemption. Existence isn't going anywhere, it just happens. And then, it stops happening. The most honest mysticism begins when we stop asking the mystery for answers. When we understand that mystery isn't a puzzle to solve, but a condition to endure. The mind wants closure. Reality offers none. That's why the silent despair that follows every human being from early on. That's why the anxiety that success, love, faith, or recognition never resolve. None of these touch the core of the unease. Because the problem isn't what's missing. It's the fact that nothing is missing, and something still hurts. Nihilism is not the denial of life. It's the refusal to lie about it. It's looking at existence without metaphysical makeup, without backstage promises, without moral guarantees. And paradoxically, that's where a deeper spirituality emerges. Not one that promises ascent, but one that accepts the fall. A spirituality without heaven, without salvation, without witnesses, only presence. Presence not as practice, but as inevitability. You are here. That's already the maximum event. There is no hidden lesson in suffering, no mandatory growth in loss, no guaranteed transformation in pain. Sometimes something breaks, and that's it. Sometimes someone leaves, and nothing better comes afterward. Accepting this requires more courage than believing any comforting story. Existential maturity begins when we stop demanding that life treat us like protagonists, when we accept we are local events in an impersonal process. And still, we feel, we love, we fear, we desire. Not because it serves a higher purpose, but because this is what happens when matter thinks. Maybe the final point isn't hope, nor despair. Maybe it's sobriety, ontological sobriety. No spiritual euphoria, no theatrical pessimism. Just the recognition that being alive means crossing something that didn't ask for you and won't remember you. And yet, you cross. Not because it makes sense, but because there is no alternative. And if there is any form of freedom here, it is this: the refusal to pretend, the refusal to sweeten the abyss, the refusal to turn mystery into emotional product, to see clearly, to feel deeply, without apologizing to chaos. Maybe that's the highest dignity available. Not an answer, but a steady gaze into the silence. You're still here. That already says something. Most people leave at the first discomfort. They scroll away the moment the words stop entertaining and start exposing. If you stayed, it's because something in this content touched a nerve you didn't know how to name. This channel doesn't exist to make you feel better. It exists to make you see. And seeing has a cost. Every video here is built against the algorithm, against comfort, against spiritual sugarcoating. It doesn't promise healing. It doesn't offer hope as a product. It doesn't flatter you or pretend everything has meaning. It respects you enough to tell the truth plainly. And the truth is this: if you're watching, you're already part of something rare. A small group of people willing to sit with silence, ambiguity, and ideas that don't resolve cleanly. Just watching helps more than you think. Sharing the video already pushes back against noise. Being here already matters. But if this content resonates with you, if these words feel like something you'd been circling your whole life, if this channel feels less like entertainment and more like recognition, then becoming a member is not just support, it's alignment. Membership isn't about perks alone. It's about sustaining a space where depth is still allowed to exist, where ideas aren't diluted to survive, where honesty isn't punished for being uncomfortable. As a member, you help keep this channel independent. You help ensure that the content stays sharp, uncompromising, and free from distortion. You're not buying access. You're helping protect a signal that refuses to lie. And if you want to go even further, Super Thanks is a direct gesture, a quiet acknowledgement, a way of saying, "This mattered to me." Not because you owe anything, you don't, but because when something speaks to you at this level, there's a natural impulse to give back, to keep it alive, to make sure it continues. Still, hear this clearly. If all you ever do is watch, that is already enough. If all you do is listen, that already helps. If all you do is stay until the end, you're already contributing. Support is never demanded here. It's invited. This channel survives because a few people recognize themselves in it and decide not to look away. If you're one of them, you know what to do. Stay, share, Join if it feels right. Use super thanks if you want to leave a mark. And if not, that's okay too. You being here aware, present, undistracted is already more than most will ever offer. Thank you for listening.